This conference will now be recorded.
All right, thank you, everyone. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order of the MPO Policy Board for the 9th day of May here, 2024. And the first item is the roll call to document that we have a quorum present. So, Aaron Easter.
Present.
Gary Schroeder.
Present.
Steve Snyder.
Present.
Larry Leverance.
Present.
Cindy Murray.
Here.
Julie Ginn.
Present.
Debbie Calder.
Here.
Thank you, everyone. We have enough folks. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. Those have been communicated to you, and I hope you've had a chance to look at those, and I'd entertain a motion for approval.
We have 10.
Okay, we have a motion. I have a second.
Second.
Yeah.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion, changes, or Scribner's errors? Hearing none, I'll conduct a roll call vote. Aaron Easter.
Aye.
Gary Schroeder.
Aye.
Steve Snyder.
Aye.
Larry Leverance.
Aye.
Cindy Murray.
Aye.
Julie Ginn.
Aye.
Debbie Calder.
Aye.
All right, thank you, everybody. The minutes are approved. The next item on the agenda is the APC progress report, and we have several items under that for MPO updates. And the first one is going to be the Robinson Road safety audit, and Tim will be handling that one.
Yes, so this is something that was kind of brought to our attention last year. Unfortunately, as many of you know, on Robinson Street in West Lafayette, there was a fatality. And because of that, there was a desire from some of the residents there to have us kind of look at the situation and evaluate what was going on with the road. Now, at the time, the intersection of Robinson and River was closed, or it wasn't closed. River Road was closed just past the intersection because of some construction, and so we wanted to wait until that was complete. Unfortunately, by the time that was completed, we really were getting into some of the cooler weather, and we weren't sure if we would really have a chance to go out and observe all the pedestrian bicyclist activity that we would on a better weather day. So we were able to get out and get into the field and have some observations about what's going on that road. We had a pretty good team that we put together, including West Lafayette City staff, some law enforcement, people from NDOT. We had someone from LTAP as well, and our staff, of course, was also there. So we got some pretty good information, and we are working on putting that into a report along with some background information, which includes some crash data, traffic counts, land use, those sorts of things. And we anticipate that that report will be completed later this summer, at which point we will share some of the highlights with this committee. But we just wanted to let you know that we have completed the field visit portion of that audit, and so it's moving along nicely, and we anticipate having a report together in a few months. So if there are any questions, I take those at this time.
All right, thank you, Tim. I don't see or hear any questions, so we appreciate that, and we will look forward to the report when it's completed. The next item on the agenda is the safety funding, and the next several Doug will be presenting. So Doug, feel free after each one when you do your questions, then just to move on to the next one on the list here.
Great. Thank you, Mayor.
Regarding the first item that I'm going to be cover safety funding, I'd like to just go back a little bit. And this effort actually started, at least in my understanding, back at road school when the NDOT commissioner basically told all of us how concerned he is with the number of fatalities and serious injuries that have been occurring statewide. And he rolled out an initiative to start addressing that. And following that up, a number of safety summits have been held and will be held around the state. The one for the Crawfordsville district was held at April 11th. And the good news is that, at least my understanding, is that if NDOT receives, or when they receive any federal funds through the redistribution process, a portion of that will be going to the local governments to implement programmatic safety projects. And we've already started rolling out some of the information to the local engineers regarding what the programmatic projects are. They're safety projects that can be done fairly quickly, such as address traffic signal heads, striping and whatnot. NDOT has a list of 25 of them. As a matter of fact, information for this has been rolling out, and earlier today in NDOT's local public agency programs newsletter, there was some information about it. So we will probably be sharing that or passing it along. If you have not yet received that, probably tomorrow or next Monday. So we are thinking ahead in terms of, we've already mentioned this to the local engineering staff. So when this money does become available, we would like to be one of the first to take advantage of this and use those funds to implement safety projects, in the greater Lafayette area. So we will be continuing to roll out this information and let everyone know that this is coming. So are there any questions regarding that? Okay. Going on to the next item. This is a fairly fun report that we put together. And of course, as you all are aware, on April 8th, we had a total solar eclipse occur just south of us. And of course, leading up to that, there was a big push on watch the traffic. You know, there's going to be lots of traffic jams. And well, the eclipse did happen, and we thought, well, let's kind of look back to see what actually did happen. So fortunately, NDOT does have permanent counting stations across the state, and we did look at two of them, specifically on I-65. One is just north of us, that is fairly close, and the other one is actually south, closer to Indianapolis, just south of the State Road 267 Brownsburg Whitestown exit, number 133. And on April 8th, the traffic count on 65 North was 59,343 vehicles. And of course, if you look south, not surprising, it was a pinch higher at 85,048 vehicles. So below, as you see on your screen, is additional information regarding the traffic counts below, table-wise by hour. And then, of course, the graph there shows the comparison of the count north of us to what has occurred on I-65 in 2022, 2023, and the first part of this 2024. The red dot shows specifically the traffic count on April 8th. It was rather interesting that for that traffic count station, it did not report any data the day before or the day after. So we were kind of fairly lucky in terms of getting that data. So, but if you look at the graph, you will notice that it's pretty high up there. Of course, to the far right, you see the peaks at Thanksgiving. And then in the middle, you see the peak for the July 4th weekend. So a fair warning that July 4th, there is a lot of traffic on I-65. And then just to the left of that is the traffic that would be experienced on Memorial Day weekend. So this is actually high up there with the other holidays. So Tim, if you could go to the next page. So we have the information there by hour for the numbers. So graphically, you can see what actually happened at the 2 traffic counts during that day. And of course, no surprise, when the eclipse occurred or right after, you see the lines just bottom out and traffic not coming to a standstill, but really slowing down, really dropping off. And then the blue line is the count north of us. You see small peaks right after the eclipse. And then if you look at the orange one, you can see it's significantly going up. So is a lot of traffic south of us during that day after the eclipse. Go down to the next page. We also have data in dot at these 2 counts, looking at the time of day by hour, and then also the number of vehicles by travel speed. And it's broken down by 0 to 20, 20 to 25, 25 to 30, and so forth. And this is the count that was just north of us. And as you can see at the top, there are a lot of zeros, the lower speeds. But when you start looking downward between 1 and 3, you notice that there are some vehicles that are actually going a lot slower than what you would normally expect. And then, of course, right during the eclipse and then afterwards, traffic seems to be moving normal. But then when you get to 5 o'clock and then all the way down to 10 o'clock, boy, look at the number of cars going or vehicles going 0 to 20 miles an hour, 20 to 25, especially point out 8 to 9 o'clock. There were over 1,000 vehicles going between 0 and 20 miles an hour at that location on I-65. We also have the same table for the count that's located closer to Indianapolis. While there doesn't seem to be a slowdown before the eclipse, we also see that slowdown afterwards, especially between 4 and 8 p.m. And then it gives you the numbers, and you can definitely see that the traffic is going much, much slower on I-65. So for those of us who like to look at things graphically, if you can go to the next page, please, Tim. This kind of takes that information and puts it in graphically. The red line are those vehicles going between 0 and 20 miles an hour. And as you can see, the big spike right after the eclipse between roughly 8 and 9, that is when traffic on I-65 was basically going at the slowest speed. So it is that, yeah, there was an issue with traffic going very slow on the interstate. And go to the last page. The current count on I-65 closer to Indy. The red line, of course, does show the 0 to 20 miles an hour, and you do see there is a lot of traffic going, and there is a spike, but it's not quite as bad. There are 3 spikes basically for 3 different travel speeds between 20 and 25. You see the one first, and then it jumps to 30 to 35, and then back down to 25 to 30. So, as you can see beforehand, there were basically no issues on the interstate, but right after the eclipse, boy, there were. So it's a documentation of what actually happened traffic-wise on the interstate. So I don't know if there's been any other studies like this done in the state. It'll be interesting to see if there has been. But we thought this would be just an interesting report that people would like to know about. So, any comments or questions? Okay, going on to the next point, the U.S. Bike Route 37. Well, I have some, just like the same, like an 8-track tape player, some good news and some bad news. So the good news is that that one of the last pieces needed for the application was the NDOT's commissioner, his approval and signature. Well, the good news that happened. That was. So after hearing that news, we thought we were good to go and AASHTO would review it, and we were had our fingers crossed. Well, after AASHTO's meeting, which was a few weeks ago, we learned that the NDOT central office staff did not follow the instructions for the application process this year. They followed last year's application process, and unfortunately, the email address that it was to be sent to, it didn't go to the correct one. So AASHTO officially never did receive it, and it was not reviewed. So at this point, we have not heard if those staff people that have been working on it have actually submitted it yet or not to the correct address. We have been told by adventure cycling staff that they can do that now, that they don't have to wait till August or September to do it, because that's when the next submittal is coming up. AASHTO will be reviewing it in October. So we hope that we can get the word out and get some support that would nudge the staff working on this to officially submit it with everything to the correct address. So unfortunately, we're going to have to wait a few more months. So that's the good and downside of it. So any questions or comments regarding that? Okay, going on to the next thing. Federal funding obligation. This is the report that we put together monthly showing where our federal gas tax transportation funds have been allocated to. And if you look towards the bottom part of the report, you will see a lot of zeros and no highlighted colors, which means we were successful in obligating all of our fiscal year 2024 federal funds. Now, we have received an additional federal funds to obligate, and we need to do this by the end of September. We have allocated all of those. We just actually learned not too long ago that we are going to receive a pinch more, and we'll be presenting that information next month to this committee. But we processed the amendment to allocate all of our funds locally, and we're waiting on NDOT and the Federal Highway Administration and Federal Transit Administration to approve the STIP amendment. Once that's done, we will then go through the process to obligate those federal funds. So the good news is that of the original amount we were allocated, all of those funds have been successfully obligated. And the last bit of information I'd like to share with you is the 18-month letting list. And Tim, if you could go to page 2, thank you. There were 2 projects on the April 10th bid letting. One was on Special 52, and this is a superstructure repair and rehabilitation project. The project was awarded to Reith Riley Construction. There were 3 bids submitted for this project, and the estimated completion date is November 1st. The second project was a various location project, repair or replace lighting, and that's throughout the Crawfordsville district. That was successfully awarded to Midwest Electric, and the completion date is later this year, November 30th. Going back to page 1, if you look to the far left side, not very many changes, so projects are on track. You notice the dates between project number 2, which was this past April, and then project 3, this coming October. We're going to be pretty dry here for a few months through the NDOT Crawford or through the state bid letting. So the next projects coming up are the 2 in October. Then we have a handful here in November, which point out the State Road 225 project. And then we also have 2 local projects, Bridge 527 and Morehouse Road. We also have a new project that's on the July of 2025 bid letting,
And that's for traffic signal visibility improvements at various intersections in Tippecanoe County. So overall, that's a quick summary of the 18-month letting list. Are there any questions or comments regarding that? Okay, thank you. I'll turn it back over to the mayor.
All right. Well, thank you, Doug, for all those reports. Under other business, Deb, did you have anything you wanted to say from NDOT standpoint? Not trying to put you on the spot, but just in case you had something.
No, but I thank Doug for covering it all for us. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Anything else from any other board member? Any other comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll go down to the citizen comments portion where we'll wait here for a minute to see if we get any comments. Could we start that time period, please?
Yes, Aria is on top of it.
Thank you. I do see Commissioner Murtaugh has joined us.
Hello, everybody. Sorry I was late.
Okay, looks like we have no public comments at this time.
All right, thank you. I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right, we'll conduct a roll call vote. Aaron Easter,
Aye.
Tom Murtaugh,
Aye.
Gary Schroeder,
Aye.
Steve Snyder,
Aye.
Larry Leverance,
Aye.
Cindy Murray,
Aye.
Julie Ginn,
Aye.
Deb Calder.
Aye.
I thank you, everyone. The motion is adjourned. We're adjourned. Thank you.